most of the folks who know me here know me as a lawyer with Green Miles, Lipton, and Northampton, who was before you last week as part of the legal team for the retreat project in North Amherst. I was moved to speak tonight by what I heard from some of the public. Probably most of you don't know I have a master's degree in urban planning. My specialty there was in housing. I have served as a visiting assistant professor of urban planning. I certainly cannot share with you private marketing data that's been done by any private project. What I can assure you, though, is the projects focused on student housing that are now before boards in this town would not be here if the public criticism you heard was correct. The reason those projects are before you, and I've read and studied the last two drafts of this marketing study, is because what's in this marketing study is, I believe, essentially accurate, okay? And that's why those projects are before you. Furthermore, from an anecdotal basis, as a landlord in Shutesbury outside of town, I never saw so many single mothers who were being chased out of that apartment building that was being converted. I had 3 of them looking at a duplex in Shutesbury. I've never seen that before. Those women were simply being driven out of Amherst by the conversion to student housing. And there seems no question that that consultation I've done with people in this town who basically are saying, our neighborhood is turned into a nightmare, and I basically have to shrug and say, well, you can bring claims for private nuisance, but who do you sue? And there is simply no zoning remedy that I can see for somebody buying a single family house and turning it into a student rental. I have personal friends in this town who have been telling me for years about how sick they are of cleaning the alcohol containers, and in 1 or 2 cases passed out people out of their yard because of the neighboring house that was turned into a rental. And that if in fact this report is not appreciated as something that is essentially accurate, and there is not a focus on trying to, recognizing the political realities in this town may not allow for everything that's in here, Amherst is, as near as I can tell, going to become a ghetto with 2 kinds of people. One is university students, and I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember my grad student days when the students were trying to unionize, when we were doing votes, and I'll tell you, some of the attitudes I heard here tonight, the student organizers in the 70s would have made those folks political targets at town meeting. And the other part of the ghetto is other upper crust people who would be the only ones who can afford it, okay? And I'm speaking